Greetings. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and even though it is my repeated desire to not have this be a channel about depression and anxiety and mental health problems, it is the truth that just that's what I'm dealing with right now. And so this is a May Mental Health Awareness Month video and partial channel update. Mental health ailments are just the most infuriatingly difficult thing to deal with, and something that I never imagined would be this much of a challenge. And it's something that it's so difficult if you haven't been through it to relate to. Even when you see it depicted in stories, it just always seems either so simple or so overly dramatic. This person's just so sad, why don't they stop? Everyone gets sad sometimes, why is this harder for this individual? And that mentality doesn't help when you then have that same point of view about yourself to some degree, that even though you now have the empathy to understand what you're going through, there's still this, I should be able to fix this, I should be able to get better, I should be able to do something better. And it's exceedingly difficult for me because I am the type of person, from all my years of being a writer, I want to fix things. I like to find what the problem is, and this is how you fix it, this is how you undo this plot hole, this is how you sort out this narrative inconsistency and make the story work better. But that's harder to do with depression because everything is so intertwined and interconnected with the way that we view ourselves, or the way that we think we should be, and all these different things that we need to unlearn, and stories about ourselves that we need to stop spinning in a negative light. And it's so complex that even things like thinking too much about the fact that you need to make yourself better, that can also be something that makes you feel worse, because that's sending those subconscious messages to the body that you are broken and you need to be fixed, and that's not embracing yourself and loving yourself and helping to heal the problem so much as it is exasperating it. But you do still need to work towards trying to get better and seeking out the help of friends and family and resources online and all sorts of different things to try to help you get a better idea of how to cope with this. And I still haven't found anything that is a solution. And life is, by its very nature, like that Doctor Who quote, a pile of good things and bad things. And so very few lives are completely without any sort of negative. But with depression, the lows just feel so much lower, and the highs feel so fleeting and don't have as long-lasting an impact. And because there is this natural flow to life, that it makes it much more difficult to live so much as it is to survive when you have depression, because there are so many things in life that you need to do. And even when some of those you're unable to do because of depression, there are so many other things that still need to be done. And so it makes it very hard to then have the time and the energy to pursue the things that you want to do, to pursue the things that would help to both give you joy and help to also give you the feeling that you have some tangible achievement, accomplishment. Because with some forms of depression, and that's one that I definitely have, is this feeling that you are missing out on things. You are not doing as much as you should, and you are not accomplishing the goals that you set out for yourself to do. And that cues into this idea of lack and glass is half empty, all these different thoughts. And that's part of a problem that I'm having at the moment, in that there's a lot of difficulties going on at home, and I'm weathering some of these better than I had been, but the fact that I have depression makes the amount of effort and energy that it takes to handle these so exhausting that then it's harder to have that creative energy to pour into the things that I love. And some people are blessed in being able to, like, again, like in that Doctor Who episode, they say, channel that pain and that anxiety into creating something beautiful. And that is such an inspiring and empowering idea, that beauty can come from pain, because there's definitely this feeling when you're depressed that the pain that you have can only create more pain, that sharing this with people will only make them sad, and that you can only spread more pain into the world by trying to interact with it in your current state. And that is a lie that your depression tells you, because we all have pain, and we all have the empathy to be able to understand to some degree that other people are going through these difficulties. And so by making that connection, by not just having the the false smile and the, oh yeah, I'm doing fine and everything's good, that having that tender, having that real talk, even though it's not something that is comfortable, it is something that does help to bring us closer and to remind us this. And I've tried a bunch of times over the last 2 months to make some sort of video for the channel. I think I'm maybe finally closest to having a video to put up, both this one, obviously, which, as long as it doesn't sound too sad, I'll go ahead and put it up, but also an actual trope video. Again, not a well-scripted one, not a well-edited one, but at least a trope video. And in the past 2 months, had like at least 4 different videos that I've tried to put together for trope videos, and I've recorded, multiple takes of trying to get it right, and recorded video clips of TV shows and stuff to put in it, but it just always just falls apart, because I'm just anxious and I'm tired, and I just look at it and I just go, this isn't the product that I want to make. I can do it better. I just can't do it better now. And that's another facet of depression, and that especially is one of my main weaknesses in this field of depression is perfectionism, and the wanting to make something good, and not just good, but the best that it can be. But the best it can be when you're depressed is far from the best it can be when you're feeling great. And so you have to make this decision: is it better to make something that is flawed in this unfortunate but possibly beautiful way, or is it better to wait and just do it when you feel better? And a lot of times I'm guilty of just waiting, and that obviously you shouldn't put too much on yourself. You should try to give yourself time, but that when I am able to create something, it definitely gives me at least some feeling that I am still, I'm not stacking up things that I need to do later. I am accomplishing something, and so hopefully I can finally put out this other trope video a little bit later this week, and see if that's able to help breathe some life into this channel. On the plus side, there were a couple of videos that I made when I was feeling super depressed that were just, saying, this channel's going to be on hold for a while until I get myself feeling better, and those were just way too sad, and it just made me depressed watching it back, so it's like I can't post that on there. So the desire to make videos is still alive. It's just the ability to make them that is in question at the moment. And that is, again, one of the things that's just so difficult with depression, is that, and I suppose it's a benefit to some degree, but that there are good days, for whatever reason. And different chemical balances in the brain come about, or just generally good things happen. There are better days where you feel good and you're able to get some things done. But as I said, just those highs of those good days don't last as long. And because there is this mass of work that builds up when you are depressed, of things you need to do, things you want to do, things you would love to do, and things you have to do. The days where you do feel good, you really only can accomplish so much, and some things have to slide by the wayside. I had for a time, and unfortunately this channel has been that. I have gotten some other things that have been good achievements, and some things I've been working towards for a long time, and that I should feel better about, and I do feel good about other days. Just right now isn't one of those days. That I finally got a driver's license, and that is something I've been working towards for a long time, because I just had been having too much trouble with my diabetes and with anxiety, to the point where I would feel confident and comfortable driving, but I'm finally a man in motion, as the 80s song would say. St. Elmo's Fire. But I always try, when making these videos, even if it's a sad video, to have some actionable advice, or some more heartfelt message, or something to it that helps to give it a tint of optimism. Because even though I am struggling with all these things, I still like to think of myself as an optimistic person, even though that optimism is more easily expressed in my view on others and on the world itself, and helping to try to get people to feel like it's going to be better, it's all right, this isn't such a bad thing, or hey, it's okay, man, we'll work it out, and trying to find some bright spot in the current huge mess that the world is, and going, hey, but there's some minor positives going on, or hey, at least we're not feeding people to lions like it was in ancient Rome, so maybe humanity's taken a few steps forward, even though it feels like we've been taking a lot of steps back lately, so I don't know. But that optimism, it's hard for me to express that optimism for myself, and that's still just that's part of that depression, is that part of yourself that should be on your side, that should be telling you, yeah, you've got this is good, let's go, is instead telling you, nah, you don't got this, you're really screwing this up, and you need to do better. And that inner critic, that negativity, is very very brutal. And so and desperately trying to find something in this video to make it, like I said, something actionable for other people who have this problem. The best thing that I have is the two pieces of advice that I have a hard time following, but it's good advice. The fact that I have difficulty following it doesn't make it any less good, is that Ralph Smart has a wonderful YouTube channel. He, in some of his videos on depression, he talks about the idea that if you look at the word depressed phonetically, it's deep rest, and that in a way you're tired, and so you just need to take it a little bit easy, and to be a little bit kinder to yourself, a little bit more forgiving, and so to pace yourself of some. And so the two best things that I could say to other people who are depressed is to both be kind to yourself, and allow yourself to take things slow, to not get necessarily everything done at the skill that you you feel you should, that take joy in doing the things that you can, and just because you aren't able to do something majestically or spectacularly or even all you want, that just pick a few things that make you happy and a few things that you need to do, and get those done, and take comfort in the fact that sometimes even just getting through the day is a massive win, that sometimes that's more than enough, because hey, you're hanging in there. Maybe you don't get anything done, but you keep yourself from having a full-blown panic attack or something like that. You're able to just put on a movie, read a book, listen to a good song, and hey, you can try again, and tomorrow at least you minimalized it and didn't have things get as stressed out as they could have been. So that would be one piece of advice, and the other one is definitely to share your stories. And I do hugely applaud both people who are courageous enough to make videos like this, because those are some of the ones that helped to make me feel better about doing this, and not necessarily feel better about having depression, but in that moment feel like it's less of a I'm somehow inadequate or lazy or stupid for not being able to make myself better, that understand the gravity of this and that it is something that we can't get out of. And so that sharing is very important, and not feeling that you are bringing other people down by being candid with how you feel. And from a storytelling perspective, I do applaud stories that weave in some aspect of these difficulties with mental ailments, and obviously both in stories where that is a key theme, because this is certainly something worthy of that degree of focus, but also stories that manage to skillfully blend it into a larger narrative, because just as a depressed person, I like to think that is a facet of myself. That isn't what my story is. My story right now is indeed, at this moment, is trying to overcome depression, but if I was going to have my story told, I just want that to be a fraction of it. And so stories where they're able to have that be a part of the story, but not the key challenge of the story itself, is a beautiful thing, because that way you're watching what was the movie? Iron Man 3, surprisingly. You're watching a superhero movie, but yet here's this character who is struggling with anxiety attacks over the fact that he's just, he has PTSD to some degree. He's just been through this huge space war, and that's such a refreshing thing, because you go to it for this superhero movie and you come away with this little glimpse that someone who is larger than life and who has all these other fantastic problems can also have that same problem that you have, and can find some way to either overcome it or to still be a hero despite having it, and that's a beautiful thing. And so stories like that blendings of the challenges that we face and the achievements that we make despite our disadvantages, is something that I applaud and that I hope to see more of. And I obviously hope that you do not suffer from these difficulties, but that if you don't, that you do have the compassion to sympathize with what your brothers and sisters of the human race are going through. And I know there are some people who don't think that this is a challenge, that don't ascribe to the idea that it is something as profoundly difficult as it is. And for those people, I would hope that they have beautifully ignorant lives, because I wouldn't wish this difficulty on anyone, and not even them. So just share your stories and listen to others and try to hang in there, and we'll see if we can get better. I already am regretting this video. Deciding whether or not I'm going to upload it. We'll see. Anyway, hopefully we'll have an actual trope video later. Until next time.